That was easy.
We're live. We're live. Press the button.
Hang on a second. Hang on. So this is what we've guys got to tell you when you're lying to yourself about what you cannot create. So this is a bullshit button, and this is for when you're lying to yourself. And when you're lying to yourself, you're buying a point of view that you cannot create anything. You can generate anything that you desire. And myself and Amy are going to have a conversation in ways that we moved and in ways that we created, despite not having the financial resources for it.
broke Irish Colleens.
Broke and still creating with Rachael O'Brien and Amy Shine. How does it get any better? Okay, story time.
Okay, story time. So welcome everyone. If you're watching this in the future, I'm Amy Shine. This is Rachael O'Brien. We both grew up in Ireland, and we have some like funny stories of stuff we used to do before, like at the beginning when we found Access Consciousness and tools of Access Consciousness. I didn't have a lot of money. Rach, you had like 3 kids to feed, in a house, and a mortgage, and a center you were running, so you had a lot on as well. And I really wanted to like get on because we're creating the 7 days of finding your gypsy magic. And a lot of people are like, what's a gypsy? Yeah. And like, this is what it is. It's like a gypsy never, ever has the money, usually never has the money for what they want to create. A gypsy goes out and create. And we have like so many stories of like being broke. Where did that come out of?
I have no clue.
It's so funny. Gypsy music to get us in the mood. We have stories of when we were broke and we had no money, but we never let it stop us from choosing and from actually getting what it is we desired. So Rachael do you want to start with your story, Rachael, or do you want me to start with my story?
You go your story.
Okay. So
say hi. Here's another gypsy. We're talking about gypsy magic. This is Bart. Hello.
Sorry, dancing Bart.
We're still connected.
We're still connected.
To the bus. I'm like, why don't I hear anything?
Another gypsy who I'm sure has gypsy. We're live on Facebook talking about broke and still creating.
Oh yeah, just keep on going.
Amy, do you want to hear Amy's story? Sit down and you can enjoy Amy's story.
What's the story?
Rachel. But anyway, we'll start with my story, but then you need to stay for Rachel's story. Well,
okay.
Isn't that unusual? Like, but it was just more like the first foundation class I chose with Access Consciousness. Like, what was it back then, Rachel? Probably like 800 euro or something, or I think it was 700.
It was
750 euro. And I was like, I was in college. I was living in this like shithole house in Wilton that had like church windows in this shitty room. Like I was just renting a room. I had just enough money to pay for my petrol, that's gas in America, and pay for my rent every week and just a bit of food, never eating out. And I used to carry tea bags in my bag. So then when I go out and meet a friend for coffee or whatever for tea, I would just order boiling water. Take my tea bag out of my bag. And I used to tell people, well, it's because I drink green tea, and at that time green tea wasn't really out in Ireland, so I used that as my cover story. But really I just didn't want to spend my money on tea. I was saving everything. Everything was going towards like, if I'm going to spend money, it's going towards like changing my life, So then I was like, in other places,
our priorities were good.
I had a priority. Like, so anyway, the foundation class was coming up, and I actually was like, I wanted to go to the 3-day body, but then I had to take the foundation. And I had no idea like how I was going to create the money. Like it was a beyond for me. Like I'm like, that's a lot of money like for me to come up with. And I just was like, I'm having it. I don't care whatever it takes. And then like I got creative. Like I started cleaning my brother's house, getting paid for that. I got my bars license. I started teaching bars. I think I had like 2 people at my first bars class. I think your Derek came and repeated just because he felt sorry for me. And and like, I got creative that way. But come the foundation class, I think I had most of the money. I think I put some of it on a payment plan. At that time, you could do payment plans. And I was like, okay, I'm going to this class. What the fuck am I going to do at lunchtime every day now? Because I knew like all these people like would go out for lunch in the hotel and stuff. So I'm like, well, I'll just bring my own lunch and I'll tell them like, that I just prefer to eat my own food. And I'm like, come lunchtime, like you don't even want the food that you brought because it's like, I don't know, it's something you cooked the night before that you don't even love.
Sitting in this piece of Tupperware. Have you ever done the Tupperware that you have?
Yeah.
Oh my
of course.
God. Yeah.
I just recognize the story.
Like come lunchtime, you're like getting all free in this class and you're like becoming all light and like everything's possible. And then you turn around and it's lunchtime. You're like, am I really going to eat this now? Lisa was like, you're not eating that. Come to the restaurant. And I'm like, okay. And she was, she's so kind and generous to both of us in inviting us to a different reality with money too. But like, that was kind of the energy. Like, I was like, whatever it takes. Like, if it means I make my own lunch and I bring it, so what? Like, I don't care, I'm having this. And I didn't have the money and I created it. And then very soon afterwards, I created the money for 3-Day Body with no payment plan.
Yeah.
I never had the money before I chose anything.
So you chose first, and then the money showed up. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one of the. Yeah.
I think what happens, Rach, is the money just didn't show up. I chose, and then I got creative.
Yeah.
The creation came after I chose. If I didn't,
Gypsy, total Gypsy.
I wouldn't get creative. And that's the thing that Gary Douglas pointed out to both of us. He said, you have to choose the thing, like go out and like say you want to buy a new car, go out and shop for the car. And then when you get the car, when you see the car you like, then you'll get creative and then you'll create the money.
Totally. And then also you require an incentive to have money because there's no value in money if you can have everything just la 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 la. So it's amazing when I look back at how innovative and how creative that you have to be. So for me, I didn't have the money to pay for a venue for a bars class. So literally I had to wait for the people to pay for the bars class and I didn't have money to go for breakfast. So we would stay in this hotel called Vienna Woods and you just walk in and everybody loved us. So you just walk in and pretend you were staying there, take your beautiful buttery roll, your big, your ketchup, take all your fresh orange juice, la la la. And because you've no judgment of it, you just are like do. But judgment stops you from creating, and judgment stops you from receiving everything. So, like, you've got to get that. You've got to put the choice first, and then you ask, "What would I have to be to create this?" And have no judgment. Have you a story that you'd like to tell us?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. It's like so.
Have you loads?
Well,
He's a gypsy.
I'm a little bit spaced now.
Great. I think did you stack your bag up with snacks from the buffet breakfast for your lunch?
I know, but what I did do was I took chocolate croissants and brought them for people in class. Like the snacks that I had were little shit, so they had all these beautiful like croissants with chocolate inside. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, I'll just take these. Oh my God, Pock and Pod, shame.
Creative.
Take the little croissants with the chocolate inside and bring them for the people in class. It's so cool.
From the buffet.
Can I have you a story?
Well, the story not like this, but like a couple of years ago, I just wanted to go to a 3-Day Body class. I didn't want to go. It was like so appealing. The energy was there, and I knew I had to be there. And so for me, the distraction was like, okay, I have no money, etc. And okay, how can I change this? Okay, just choose it. I learned to just choose. And then everything
put the horse first.
Exactly. And for me, it was like, okay, I have to choose this. Okay, I choose this, and 2 days later, exactly that amount of money, 1,400 euros, bam, in my bank account. I was like, okay, this is cool. So I did it once, and then I knew. It was like, okay, just do it for the fun of it. Just try it. But I did not have the back door. Just before that, I had a back door, and I was like, okay, I choose it. But if it's not there, I won't choose the class anymore. But this one was like, okay, I have to be there.
You're
It's
going.
just, yeah, I'm going, whatever. So if the money wasn't there, I would got creative. I knew.
That is, and that I think that's like the key point too as well, because you have to also like, because some people say like, I'm choosing it, but you're not really, you're still sitting on the fence and you're kind of waiting to see if the money will show up rather than being the demand of whatever it takes, I'm having this. And that's when the creation comes. Like that's when the like everything in the universe starts to contribute to you.
And it's, you know, as you're telling this, I'm just reminded there's like about, you know, the ADD, there's that spherical awareness where you're aware of like a million, like what he didn't tell you is you were broke 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Kinda.
Completely broke. You know, like 30,000 in debt. I was 90,000 in debt. No, I'm not in debt anymore. You're in the plus. I'm in the plus. So there's this magical creation. You've got to be willing to come out of all judgment, and you've got to be willing to go, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it.
Something like that.
So you've got to be willing to keep going no matter what, and you've got to be willing to move. And I find as long as you're in the question, as long as you keep generating, that what shows up is like, wow.
So don't wait, create.
Yeah, and also don't
What
wait.
the hell are you waiting for?
No more. So
Exactly.
also like the thing too is like you said, like it's the choice that like it's like, because if I sit at home and I'm like just do the same thing every day and I'm like oh, I won't do that, or I won't do that, or I won't have that because I don't have the money yet, right? But I have to, if I don't choose, I'm not going to actually create. I'm not going to get creative. So there has, like you said, Rach, there's like that, like there's that big choice in your world, whether it's a class or it's a house or whatever it is, where it's like you kind of need a reason to create.
An incentive.
Yeah.
You require, because so for me, it's like if I haven't got an incentive, my greatest story in the speed of which creation of money ever occurred for me was I had trained as a fitness instructor, and I was like, will I do classes? And you know what, this whole thing of need and tug, when you require something, you create it. And I adore my kids, and my eldest kid was like, hey, I'd like to go to this Scullinanog. It's an Irish speaking school and it costs $3,000. I didn't have the $3,000. So I go down and I print some flyers about fitness classes coming to Carricktool and Middleton. And these are areas where there's not much fitness classes going on there. It's really East Cork, you know. And I put my 3 kids in the car. Yeah, small villages. I put my 3 kids in the car, and Dara's like a younger version of you. And he's running around, hey, my mom is doing fitness classes. Would you like to come? And he's unshamedly like, hey, and they're giving leaflets, and the 3 of them are running around putting all the leaflets, 1,000 leaflets. I start the classes the following Tuesday and the Wednesday. I had 60 people in Carricktool with my 12-year-old sitting taking the money. €80 per person. And I had something like 70 people in Middleton. And I was laughing. Here's Jessie swinging her legs because it's in an old school hall, an old dance hall, and her legs are swinging on the stage. And she goes, she didn't pay over there.
Talking about being present.
Yeah.
So we get home, and because the kid, total gypsy, and we go home and we've all the money in a bag, right? And we sit up, the 4 of us, and we've the exact €3,025 to pay for the school for the year.
Wow.
And this is something that I was shy sharing, and I shared with Bert, and I've shared with a few people, so I'm over it now. Last week, my daughter sent me a message. Thanks for being the woman who inspires me in my life and show me that anything is truly possible. And so this being a gypsy is, of course, and I see this with another people that show up and choose classes. One of the things, Amy, is that the difference between someone who doesn't create the money and someone who does, the person who's willing and truly is asking for it and desires it, they really are looking to have that in their lives. There's really an incentive for greater and more. They'll always, have you ever noticed this with your classes here? They'll always be the ones that show up. Even with me, we've someone in the business class at the moment, and he created the money, he got his company to pay for it. The ways that people generate and create. So if you're watching this, put on a beautiful story about you, how you generated something from nothing. These are beautiful for people to read, and they'll give it a go. Give the magic a go.
Yeah. I love it. And if you do want to join us, we're gonna dive deeper into this, into different ways of creating, because, you know, like Gary said to me a while back, you receive differently to other people. And I think one of the biggest things we kind of fuck ourselves up with is like that we try to like make ourselves fit into this reality, like as if like, well, when I have this much money in my bank account, then I'm good, rather than receiving, like you said, like that guy got the class paid for, like that was receiving. And so what are the magical ways you create? And what if it doesn't look like anyone else?
And also, if you're out there and you haven't got that incentive, ask for what enthusiasm, what enthusiasm can I be that would allow me to, create what I desire? Because if I haven't got like some type of an invitation energy that's like in anything, Dane Hare said something in Joy Business Facilitators. He said, if it's not going to be fun for you, you won't create it. And I know this about myself. It's not going to get created. Not going.
Yeah. And if you want enthusiasm, me and Rachel have one day starting, and we're very joyful. We'll share all our enthusiasm with you.
And fun and play and what else is possible.
Yeah.
Gypsy Magic, 7 nights, $99.
I'm there. Yeah, really. Just love the stories.
Bert's coming for more stories.
Yeah, and some more awareness. And for me, the one thing that popped was like acknowledging where you're creating and where you're receiving.
I like that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. And the link to the 7 Days of Gypsy Magic in the thread. And we do have Portuguese translation, French translation, Romanian translation, and German.
German.
So, and country pricing for that as well. So see you there. Maybe not, or see you around somewhere. Love ye. Bye.
Bye.